girls. I'm glad you could make it. We're going to start with part 1 of Girl Talk. This is a demonstration. You know, every girl wants to be accepted. She wants to be loved. She wants to be desired. I'm going to show you a demonstration that's going to help you to know how to become that kind of a woman that will be desired. Now look at these 2 containers. This is your potential. I'm going to take this one. First of all, let's start with some simple attributes. This is a woman who can clean. She's kind, but she's clean. She's neat. Now, she's not one of these people who just stuff the stuff in the drawers. She cleans her floors. She has laundry done. She's a clean person. Next, she's a good cook. She uses a cookbook. She doesn't throw microwave things in. Now, she's a kind person. We're going to add these to represent her kindness, her grace, her disposition. When you come to her and talk to her, she listens to you. All right? Now, she's a person who uses her talents. You know, every one of you have a talent or many talents. You are born with them. Some don't know them. They're God-given abilities, and some people use them and some don't. If it's not singing or playing an instrument, it could be working with people. All right, let's just put her talent right down in her life. Now, this is an education. This is the only time in your life you will get a free education. Some girls drop out, but let me tell you, it's painted gold because it's worth gold. I live down south right now, and there's chicken factories, and I tell the girls here, if you don't get an education, you could end up gutting chicken 40 hours a week. Put it to your advantage. Learn all you can. All right, let's give her her education. Now, I'm going to top her off with something priceless. That's her virginity. You know, the Bible says that a virtuous wife is a crown upon her husband's head. And there's one more aspect. Just a minute. You see, if you have faith, if a woman has faith, there's a dimension to her beauty that outshines all the others. Okay, now this is a desirable woman. And I want you to think for a minute. Can you think of someone you know who is like this? It could be a relative, a friend, an aunt. There's someone that you think and know is beautiful. She's clean, she's good. Now let's look at the other one. This one's dirty, so we're putting dirt in. She doesn't clean. She doesn't know how to cook. All right. Now, here's a filthy habit. This is cigarettes. Would you like to smell it? No? All right. Cool. Phew. People who smoke stink. Their houses stink, their hair stinks. I'm going to tell you right now, girls, somebody who smokes a pack a day in 10 years could have bought a new car with the money they've smoked. In 2 packs a day, they could have bought a Corvette convertible. And in a lifetime of smoking, they could have paid for an entire house and property. Boy, this stinks. Don't you love to be around people? And the worst thing is people who smoke don't even realize how bad they stink. You can smell them a mile away, but their sniffer's gone. All right. Now, this was a hard part. I had to collect bugs to represent something. You ever hear girls who talk with profanity and dirty mouths? Bugs represent the profanity. They represent lying. Do you know when a girl lies, whether it's to her parents, her boyfriend, other girls, it's like these bugs. It's filthy. They're kind of rotty, but ew. Oh, okay. Get our bugs in there. Now, this girl hasn't got a lot going for her. She's dirty, she smokes, she stinks, she lies. So what's she do to get a love, to get attention? She gives herself sexually. It's the only thing she knows that guys want. So I'm giving her dried up flowers. She's not a virgin. But you see, she knows guys want sex, and she thinks that's her way of getting love. Now, we leave airhead. So there's no diploma. She quit high school. And let's top her off with a beer can. The beer can that has no peace. She's not a happy person, so she drinks, she takes drugs, whatever. Now the same thing applies to men. A man, there are good men and bad men. What kind do you want for a husband, girls? This one is kind, helpful, he's a promise keeper. He gives time to his family and friends. He's affectionate, he's tender. He takes care of his responsibilities without complaining. He has good manners. And if he has faith, he's full of joy, and he's the kind of guy you want to be around. Now look at the other guy. How many women end up married to someone like this? He's a loudmouth. He lies. He breaks promises. He uses women for his pleasure. He's selfish. He gets mad when things don't go his way. He wants control. He doesn't really care how other people feel, as long as he can control. And when he gets angry, he loses his temper, he yells, he curses, and he puts down people. He finds fault and condemns other people. Sometimes he smokes, he chews, he drinks. He could be physically abusive, or he could abuse emotionally, just by condemning and hurting and judging. He could be lazy, irresponsible, sloppy. What kind of husband do you want, girls? And what kind of wife do you want to be? Now this is Mr. Right. If you want Mr. Right, now say this is your girls, okay? If you want Mr. Right, which girl do you think, which kind of wife do you think he's going to choose? Her or her? You see, if you're this kind of woman, you'll only get this kind of man. One of the girls asked me, she wanted to know, how do you change? Now look at these both carefully. What kind of woman do you want to be? This one is going to be desired, and you can become this woman. You can have her attributes or beauty, it's up to you. And you can have your pick of men. This one gets leftovers. She gets the men no women want. Do you know women like this? I bet you do. She said, how can I change? And I said, same way I did. Whew. You start over. You start over by filling yourself with the good things, by changing. My change was when I came to Jesus Christ. Everyone can make a decision what you want to be. It's up to you. If you want to be the kind of person that's desirable, that people like to be around, or do you want to be someone that's filthy and dirty? All right. You can make that change. The next thing we're going to do here, we're going to go to part 2. This is our girl talk, and I'm going to tell you secrets about men, about boys, the things they don't want you to know. But I'm going to tell you because I want to help you. Girls, we're going to talk about molestation. But first I want you to look at this puppy and imagine, if you will, what if you had a dog and the dog had puppies and you had to give the puppies away and you gave one of the puppies to these people who are cruel and they abused that puppy. And if the puppy tore something or that, they beat it, they'd show it no affection. And one day you were coming home and you saw that puppy along the road. Would you take the puppy back? Would you accept it back? You would, right? All of you would. And that's how it is when a girl's been molested. 7 out of 10 girls will be raped or molested by the age of 20. 4 out of 10 boys. And this is how they feel. When they feel the shame, the guilt, the hurt, they carry that their whole life. And just as you would take that puppy back, you have got to learn to forgive and to accept yourself, because you're just like the puppy. Boys and girls do not think alike, and they are not alike. Do you know sometimes that when a girl says she wants to be loved, that a boy thinks that means sex? I'm going to show you some differences between boys and girls, men and women. After puberty, there's a change. Men, the testosterone in the male increases. And often this is what decides his character. I'm going to show you something here. Where are they? Okay. Oh. I took their brains out. Because at this time, when a man is ruled by his testosterone, what? You don't know? Okay. Testosterone is the sperm in his testicles. You don't have to make faces. But let me tell you, girls, that in 1 teaspoon, there is up to 300 million sperm, and it only takes 1 to get pregnant. Men and boys are often ruled by this. Let's look at the difference here. The male goes through a cycle. Usually this happens 2 to 3 times a week. His cycle is as his testosterone grows, or he gets more. He becomes more aggressive, frustrated, louder, and then he flips. He becomes tender, romantic, but because he needs to relieve it. And after that, he gets into his normal cycle. Look at the girls. They don't have any buildup. They don't have the problem. For a male, it's different. For a male, he gets a pressure and he needs to relieve it. There are different ways a man relieves it. 1, he masturbates. The second way, he might take a girl forcibly and rape her. And the third way, he talks her into it, to having sex to relieve himself. Now the female, she goes through her cycle, but it only happens once a month to go through the whole cycle. This man is going like this, and the female is real slow. Now she goes through her PMS, she gets moody, irritable, miserable. 90% of the violent crimes women commit and are in prison, they committed them while they were on PMS. Then they have their period, their headaches, their cramps, messy, yucky cycle. They get through that, they're normal. They hit the same normal that a man hits. And then from normal they go into a time of, they feel romantic or cuddly. And this is also the most fertile time of their cycle. This is when they've ovated and their egg is ready to be fertilized. So if you put this, hits the same time as the male, and they have intercourse, she will quite possibly end up pregnant quickly. All right, now, let's go back to our couple. The thing that girls don't know is the way men act. It's not love, it's not their brains, it's their testosterone. If girls knew what men were thinking when they look at their bodies, they wouldn't be dressing the way they do. You see, a girl, we all want to look decent, we want to be accepted, we want guys to look and desire us and think we're attractive. So a girl puts on tight little things and skimpy things and tries showing off her body, even women do, to get that attention. But the men see that and they think that woman wants sex. The woman just wants to be accepted and desired. She doesn't want sex, and you all know that. But men don't know that, because that's where men and women are different. Now the woman, when the man says things to her, all of a sudden she gets all butterflies in her stomach. She gets excited, and you know when they kiss for the first time, electricity, and they think that's love. Women do not use their brains. Girls do not use their brains at this time. They're using their emotions. You see, all men are hunters by nature. They're conquerors. They want to conquer. They want to win. They want to be the victor. And this is nature. Have you ever seen boys at school talk, the way they talk? They try to prove their male virileness, their great hunter skill, their great conqueror. They treat women like targets. They talk about girls on sexual notes. Now here's something else, girls. Do you know that young men, especially the older teens, think about sex maybe 70–80% of the time? That's what they're thinking about. Now just like the male hunter, let's look at this gift. Now you saw this sitting there, and you wonder, what's that? Who's this for? Can I have it? I want that. And that's just like this. You ever see at Christmas time? I'm going to open this up. You're curious. At Christmas, how the little kids come downstairs, they wait for that present, and they go and they rip it open. Well, there it is. It's all over. You see, girls, that's you. You're like that gift. And when you give yourself to that conqueror, to that boy, it's all over. A man told me recently, he said, girls don't know, but having sex with a boy doesn't make him like her anymore. It doesn't make him love her. Having sex with a girl is relieving him. That's all it's doing. You know, if you took a room and you lined it up with girls, and you gave one girl a piece of bologna, and opened the door and let a dog run in that room, what girl do you think the dog's going to go to? The one that gives him the bologna. And you see, there's a lot of boys like that. They're not looking for a relationship or for marriage. They're looking for relief because they're going through their cycle. They get the pressure build up, they need a relief. Now the fourth way a man is relieved is through wet dreams. Boys have wet dreams. They have sexually erotic dreams, and it relieves their seminal fluid. So God has built in a release for men. A girl should never feel responsible for relieving a man. And unless she's married to him, she should never, never take on that responsibility. Just like a man is not responsible for a woman going through her cycle, a woman is not responsible for a boy's. If you don't want to be that discarded gift, that present, if you don't want to be thrown aside, because after he opens one gift, he'll look for more. Just like the boy at Christmas, he opens one present, he throws it, he goes to the next. And the only way you're going to stay desirable is to stay wrapped up, stay pure, keep your gift. Now let's look at something here. Before you go out on a date, you already know, or most girls should know, how far they're going to go. Keep your standard up, no matter what the guy says. And if a guy tries to give you alcohol or drugs of any type, he is trying to lower your standard, to please him. All right? Know how far you're going to go. For instance, what if you start kissing? If you don't have a set mind, a goal of what you're going to allow, you could go all the way. If you start kissing, what's next? Then comes the heavy necking. If the girl goes with that, where's she going to stop? After that comes petting, touching. And when a man or a boy tries to get his hands on the girl's nipples, it's like unlocking the door. God has made people to want to procreate. And there's built-in mechanisms. And you must keep your hands off his body and have him keep his hands off your body. Now you've got to learn to say no, no matter what he says. Now guys, they'll say just about anything to get what they want. Not all men, no, I'm talking about the men who are selfish and don't care. Maybe they'll say, I've never met anyone like you before. Or you're really different, you're beautiful. That always gets a girl, doesn't it? Oh, I'm beautiful, oh. That'll do it. How about the guys who whistle, they wink? All of these are sexual advances. And the older men know how to get young women. They lie to them, they seduce them, and the girls believe them. They promise them things. Oh, if I were 20 years younger. That's a sexual advance. How about a guy who says, I could spend the rest of my life with you, but he has no intentions of marriage. He has intentions of using you. That's it. You start petting, sex is progressive. If you go this far on a date, the next date you start there, and then how far are you going to go? From there it goes right into sexual intercourse after you start getting heated up from petting and touching those mechanisms that weren't meant to be played with, except in marriage. You have to convince the guy to come there. And you know, girls, if you get stood up, or if a guy doesn't ask you out again, it could be because all he wants is relief. All he wants is to conquer. I'm saying, boys learn from the time of puberty how to sweet talk a girl or how to be nice. This is what they're developing, their art, their skill. Now, one of the things guys might say to a girl, and it's as old as the hills, is, you would if you loved me. Oh, yes, girls think that the sign of love for a man is to give them their sex. Another one is, how will we know that we're compatible if we don't try it first? That has nothing to do with marriage. Girls, he just wants to get you in bed. That's all he cares about. Or else he just might simply say, you know I love you. I don't care about anyone else. You see, we all want to be loved. We all want to be desired. So we take that in and we feed on it. And guys know, older men know that women feed on that. And they dish it out all the time, and they're lying from the pits of hell. Because you know, girls, the same thing that that man will say to a girl one day, he'll say to another girl the next. It doesn't mean nothing. All it is a cycle, a relief for now, and that's all a girl is to some men. Now let's look at some other things. What happens if you do have sex? Now you hear at school and on TV all the time, there's all types of diseases besides AIDS and herpes. My goodness. There's just all kinds of horrible things that can happen to you for the rest of your life. How about abortion? How many girls have abortions because they don't want their parents to know they're pregnant, or the boy left them and they don't want a kid? And they don't realize that after an abortion, girls go through depression, they go through suicidal tendencies, their whole life is changed. Because it catches up sooner or later. They start thinking about the very fact they killed a child, a part of them. I recall a story of one woman who had an abortion. She used to hang her, and then she flushed the fetus down the toilet. Later on, she got married, but she said, you know, every time I flush the toilet, I see my baby, the one I killed. And it hurts her. And she'll never, never outgrow it. It'll never go away. And that's how it is with abortion. It hurts. It's part of the woman. What are the other things? Okay, you have sex one time. Some girls have sex, and so then they think they're not worth anything. So they give it to other guys because they've lost it. That they think that first time is the most important. Sex is good inside a marriage. It's God's gift. God created it to be fun and enjoyable for a couple, for a married couple, and it's protected in marriage. If a girl and a boy stay a virgin until they get married, they won't have any diseases. She's not going to have to run out and get an abortion. And look at the other things, rape and incest. Girls who have been raped by an uncle, by a family member or a stranger, it stays with them. And like I showed you in the beginning with the puppy dog, it hurts a lifetime unless you can forgive yourself. And even if you have had sex, you have to forgive yourself and make an attempt to change. Make a stand. All right, now I want to show you something else. I'm trying to convince you to keep your purity until you're married. You know, you're going to marry someone you date. And some girls say, well, how do I know what he's like? Listen to him. How's he talk? Does he talk like the dirty jar? Does he swear? Does he put down people? Does he criticize? Does he drink? Does he brag? Well, that's the kind of guy he is. Is he caring? Is he sensitive? Does he listen? Is he helpful? Is he loving? I mean, that's the other type. You'll know, just listen. Listen to the way they talk, the way they treat other people. The way a guy treats his mother, often he will treat his wife. And if he rebels against his parents, he will hate his wife later. And that's as true with girls. If they can't stand the authority of their father, they're not going to want to listen to their husband. They don't change. And you can't change a man when you get married. That's the way he is. And he usually gets worse. Now, if you take this man, this good-looking hunk of man here, and you put him in a car lot, this is a used car lot, and the owner says, you can have any car you want to this man, except for the one in the glass house. This one has never been driven. This is a brand new one. Looks like a nice white convertible. And the guy says, take your pick of any car you want. except that one. What car do you think this man's going to want? He's going to want the one that he can't have, because he is by nature a hunter and a conqueror, and he wants that thing he can't have. And if you want to be desired, then don't make yourself attainable. You can be nice, you can have friends, you can be kind, you can be funny, and have a good time, a lot of fun, but don't give yourself sexually. Don't talk dirty. Don't put down people. And you can be the best woman possible. Now some of you are wondering, you know, I have messed up, I have done things, or I have been raped, or I have this inside of me, or I do smoke, or I do some of these things I shouldn't, but I'd like to change. I'd like a new start. Can I? And I'm saying to you right now, yes. I'm going to give you all the opportunity. Here, let me find it for you. This is a pledge of purity. But first I want to show you something else before I read this to you. Okay? By now, you know what is the greatest thing that a man can give a woman. You see, a man doesn't give this to everybody. This is special. Because when a man gives you a ring, a wedding ring, and he says, I take this woman to be my wife, he is saying, I will be responsible for her, I will protect her, I will love her. This is the most a man can give you. What's the most a woman can give a man? Her virginity. This is priceless. To give that to your husband on your wedding night. Girls, you can be this woman. You can be what you want to be. You can change. Now we'll look at this pledge. If you would like to change, if you would like to become that special woman, you just say this with me, and you will get your own pledge. You say, on this day, I, say your name, pledge to start my journey to become the best person that I can, to value myself and my life, making the most of every good opportunity offered to me, and to step out of the past, leaving the hurts and mistakes of yesterday behind, protecting my purity until the day I willingly give it to my beloved in holy matrimony. Now remember, if you have been molested or raped, that was not giving yourself. When a girl is raped, the man is guilty, not the girl. When she is forced, and you are innocent, and you still have your purity, because purity comes from the heart. And when people go out on dates, if a girl drinks and the boy talks her into sex, later she'll say, well, he raped me. No, she was stupid. If you give yourself because of drinking or something, that's not rape. That's just stupidity. But from this day forward, you can leave the past and you can step in to a new way of life. Well, girls, I've enjoyed having you here. And you know, usually when we have seminars, we have an answer and question time afterwards, which we can't do over the tape. I would like to share a couple little things, and then I'll bid you farewell. Just remember, attraction comes naturally. And if you want to know if it's love, When it's real love, the boy and the girl will both be attracted to each other, and it won't be a sexual thing. It'll be far deeper. The other thing to remember is, once people start having sexual relations, their communication levels off. They will never have that deep, intimate communication with a husband. Supposing a girl dates a man and they have sex the first night, they will never have a deep, intimate conversation. It levels off, it actually does. So sex is progressive. You can never go backwards. You can stop, but when you're dating someone, the guy always expects to progress. You have got to have your limits. Girls wonder about their bodies, if they're attractive or what's wrong with them. They compare. If you have a female body, that's what the guy wants. So what you want to do is work on the kind of woman you'll be. Date different boys and watch who you date. Keep your standard up and always say no, know your limit. And when you're ready to get married, try not to marry a guy out of pity. So many women have that heart and they're so afraid the guy will just go crazy without her, so she marries him out of pity. And then she's stuck with him the rest of her life, or as long as it lasts. Some men only want women to cook and to clean and to have sex with. They really don't care about the woman as a person. And that's often the type of man that the dirtier women will get.